Welcome back to CBS News 24/7. President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet picks continue to make their rounds on Capitol Hill. This week, Health and Human Services Secretary pick Robert F. Kennedy Jr. sits down with Republican leaders to really clarify some of his more controversial stances. So we want to talk to CBS News politics reporter Shawna Mizelle. She is here with us to talk about that meeting. RFK Jr. is meeting with the Senate Health Committee on Capitol Hill. So walk us through who's on that committee, the force of their actions, and what that meeting is going to be like.
Well, that's absolutely right, Reed. RFK Jr. has been up on Capitol Hill this week and last week seeking to make his case to multiple senators that will be responsible for pushing his nomination through, speaking to that health committee today. But what's really important to note is that RFK Jr. actually does not have any experience or any background working in healthcare, but this is who Trump tapped to lead Health and Human Services. And so he's been a vocal critic of vaccines, and that's been a big focus and cause of scrutiny in some of those conversations that he has had up on Capitol Hill. Donald Trump really seeking to get out there and reaffirm his support for RFK in a press conference he did earlier this week, but also seeking to massage some concerns that access to the polio vaccine could be curbed under a leadership under RFK.
Right, but we also understand that some Republicans gave clues about the conversations and they want to have with RFK. That includes Louisiana Senator John Kennedy. What more can you tell us about that?
Right. This Louisiana senator was talking to reporters about what he was expecting to bring up in his conversation with RFK. Let's take a listen to that sound.
I want to talk to Mr. Kennedy about his abortion stand. He's all over his map, all over the map. There's some of his comments could be construed, I think fairly, to suggest that he supports abortion up to the moment of birth. And I don't think any fair-minded American does. Now, I don't know why he said what he said on the subject of abortion. I don't know what's in his heart and what he really believes, because he said so much stuff, some of which sounds like he's from outer space.
So there you hear that Louisiana senator saying that abortion was a top issue that he wanted to address with RFK. Now, RFK Jr. actually has wavered on his stance as it relates to abortion multiple times. At one point, he did say that he does not support any restrictions on the procedure, but this came amid the summertime. He was running as an independent candidate for president. He then reversed that position and said that he does support abortion, but only up until fetal viability, and that was the standard under Roe versus Wade. But he's going to be serving in a Trump administration. And so that's going to be the big question. If he is confirmed, would he align with what President-elect Donald Trump actually wants?
Yeah, and pretty fascinating language there, saying that Kennedy sounds like he's, quote, from outer space. On the flip side, I want to ask you about this. Senator Tuberville seems to support Kennedy. So do these conflicting remarks really signal a divide amongst Republicans where Kennedy is concerned?
Well, yeah, Senator Tuberville actually said that he met with Kennedy. He brought up abortion. This is a big issue for a lot of conservative Republicans, and they are really concerned about how RFK would address this if he is tapped and tasked to lead HHS. Let's take a listen to what Tuberville had to say.
Well, I just asked him, I said, in the past you've been pro-abortion, and he said, well, it's basically he and President Trump had sat down and talked about it, and both of them came to an agreement. Hey, Roe Wade is gone back to the states. Let the people vote on it, and that's been mine all along. I'm pro-life, but I am glad that the American citizens have a chance to vote in their state, and he's the same way.
So Tuberville essentially saying that RFK told him that he would do whatever President-elect Donald Trump wants. But this is really important to note because you had Missouri Senator Josh Hawley. He's also a Republican, and he said that in his meeting with RFK Jr., that RFK indicated that he would be open to restricting access to mifepristone. Now, mifepristone is the drug that is commonly used in most abortions across the country. It was the focus of a Supreme Court case as well. And we know know that under current leadership, under Secretary Becerra and the Biden administration, they have really worked to secure access to that drug. But RFK apparently signaled that he would be open to restricting access to this drug. And this is in a stark contrast to what President-elect Donald Trump told Time magazine as it relates to this medication just in an interview that was released last week.
CBS News politics reporter Shawna Mizelle, always an honor to talk to you there in our nation's capital. Thank you so much for streaming with us today.